Part 23. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Depang. Chapter 223. Lord, this man's name is Zhangji, a newly promoted third-level cultivator under Ma Tianxiao. After entering Black Horse Town, Huanglin quickly brought Chen Ronghuo to the statue of Lord Ma Tianxiao. At this time, Jing Qinzan is guarding here. At the same time, he was guarding a short, pale practitioner. Seeing this cultivator, Chen Ronghuo frowned. Ordinary third-level cultivators have extraordinary aura. But this man had a wretched temperament all over his body. It gives people a sense of sly eyebrows. Zhangji, third-level Silk Grass Warlock. Position, new Deputy Commander of the Black Mist Town Guards. Qualification, 3. There is a third-level silk grass parasitizing the body. The silk grass can be summoned and used to entangle and attack the enemy. Special ability, Killing Advancement. You can improve your cultivation by killing other beings that contain the source of demonic energy. Status 1, Cultivation is being sealed. State 2, a wisp of black magic star's evil energy is lurking. A wisp of black devil star's evil energy is lurking? After identifying Zhangji's attributes, Chen Ronghuo's pupils suddenly shrank. He quickly thought of the octopus he killed not long ago. What would happen if the source of the black devil's energy lurking in Zhangji's body exploded? Will he lose his mind and only know how to kill like the giant eight-clawed octopus before? It seems that we need to pay more attention to this matter. Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath. The origin of Black Demon Star's demonic energy involves the gods. Even if he consumed all the energy of the ancient book, he could not deduce anything. With this in mind, he quickly walked to Ma Tianxiao's Lord statue. As soon as he raised his left hand, the blazing natural disaster flames burst out. No matter what changes will come to the world of gods in the future, he can only cope with the changes by strengthening himself as soon as possible. After Chen Ronghuo took action, Huanglin and Zhen Qinzan also attacked Ma Tianxiao's Lord statue. Amidst the loud noises, not far away, Zhangji's anxious eyes suddenly flashed a hint of cruelty and coldness that even he himself was not aware of. However, this unusual cruelty and coldness only flashed for a moment and then disappeared quickly. Boom! At this time, with a loud noise, the statue of Ma Tianxiao, the Lord of Dark Horse Town, fell in front of Chen Ronghuo with a roar. It became the first statue of a lord to fall in front of Chen Ronghuo during this period of time. At the same time, as Ma Tianxiao's lord statue collapsed, 4 more divine attributes and a large amount of faith power fell into Chen Ronghuo's hands. Whoosh! At the same time, Beiwu City. A figure quickly returned from a distance and landed in front of Zhang, Sun, and Ping Ping. This man has gray hair and is dressed in simple gray clothes. He is a retainer of the Changsun family and his name is Lu Ming. How about it, Uncle Ming, what did you find when you went to the important town of Longtan? Seeing the person coming, Changsun Ping immediately asked impatiently. Lu Ming looked at the eager Changsun Ping, hesitated for a moment, and then said, Master, when I went to the important town of Longtan, I happened to see Long Fihung returning from Lushwiven town. Returning from Lushwiven town, Changsun Ping's pupils shrank and interrupted Lu Ming, did Long Fihung really go to Lushwiven town? Also, was he injured? I used my secret technique to check, and Long Fihung should be seriously injured. Lu Ming took a deep breath and said, but this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that Long Fihung took his men with him shortly after returning to the important town of Longtan. The strong man quickly left the important town of Longtan. Left the important town of Longtan? Left the important town of Longtan with your strong men. Changsun Ping said in disbelief, Uncle Ming, do you mean that he didn't even want the important town of Longtan and just ran away with his men? Right. Lu Ming nodded solemnly. What kind of strong person is there in Lushwiven town, who can actually scare Long Fihung like this? Chang Soon Ping was shocked and deeply puzzled. Is it a 4th level strong person? But if there were really level 4 experts in Greenwater Bay Town, how could it be so troublesome to unify Beiwu Island? At this time, he had realized that he might have been completely wrong when he regarded Greenwater Bay Town as a cover for the 3 major towns. Chang Sunan and Chang Soon Sheng on the side remained silent. Both of them were shocked by the news that Lu Ming brought back. They knew Long Fi Hung's strength very well. Without their 3 sisters taking action, none of the 3 brothers could be Long Fi Hung's opponent. But now, Long Fi Hung was so frightened that he ran away after a trip to Greenwater Bay Town. He even ran away without caring about his family. By the way, Uncle Ming, can you see where Long Fi Hung escaped? At this time, Zhang Sunping had a thought and asked. Kurojiri Island. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and said, if I guessed correctly, the direction they fled should undoubtedly be Black Mist Island. Kurojiri Island. Chang Soon Ping frowned. After a moment, he turned his head and glanced at the Lord's mansion behind him. I hope third sister can break through as soon as possible. At this moment, he felt a deep sense of powerlessness. If you don't have enough strength, you won't have the confidence to do anything. In the Dark Horse Town. After Chen Ronghuo smashed the Lord's statue of Ma Tianxiao, he unfolded his natural disaster wings, soared into the sky, and shouted to the citizens of Black Horse Town, from now on, Black Horse Town will be merged into our Greenwater Bay Town. Everyone can become a formal citizen of Greenwater Bay Town. But if anyone goes against my will, he will be killed without mercy. The huge black and red natural disaster wings flapped in the sky, making Chen Ronghuo's power amazing. No one in the Black Horse Town dared to look at him. When he opened and closed his eyes, everyone avoided his sharp eyes. Unlike the previous Xuanhuan town, before he came to the Black Horse Town, most of the stubborn people under Ma Tianxiao in the Black Horse Town had been wiped out by Huang Lin. That's why these people are so afraid of Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo looked at the Black Horse Town citizens who were timid and nodded slightly. Let's go, follow me to Longtan Town. Then he gave a few more instructions, and took Huang Lin and his party, as well as the captured Zhangji, and quickly rushed to Longtan Town. Although he also knew that Long Fi Hung might have returned to the town by now. With Long Fi Hung's strength, if he guarded Longtan Town, it would be almost impossible for him to take Longtan Town. But he was still unwilling to give up. Longtan Town has a special geographical location. It just separated several major towns such as Humit Town from Lushwivan Town. If he didn't take Longtan Town, then it would be difficult to manage Lushwivan Town and the territories he had just taken. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. To rush from Humit Town to Longtan Town, you have to pass Qingmu Town first. Qingmu Town is the center of Greenwater Bay Town. There is a large lush forest inside. Qingmu Town is built in this forest. It looks like a small country in a forest. However, the original Qingmu Town has been destroyed by the 3 major towns of Longtan Town, Black Horse Town, and Xuanhuan Town. The current Qingmu Town is jointly managed by the 3 major forces. But when passing by Qingmu Town, Chen Ronghuo glanced and unexpectedly found that Qingmu Town had already been deserted. Perhaps it is not appropriate to say that it is deserted, because the original people of Qingmu Town are still here. But none of the strong men who were stationed here in the 3 major towns have disappeared. It's gone fast. Chen Ronghuo frowned a little, but after thinking about it, it would save him trouble. This is Qingmu Town. When flying over Qingmu Town, Zhu Daipen, who was usually lazy and never felt sad about the passing of spring and autumn, suddenly showed a trace of emotion. He had heard that Qingmu Town was surrounded by greenery and was a habitat for hundreds of birds. It was also the most beautiful town on Beiwu Island. But it was not until he followed Chen Ronghuo and became a 3rd-level cultivator that he saw the beauty of Qingmu Town. Suddenly, he had an idea and said with a gleam in his eyes, Lord, what do you think? If we can take Longtan Town, we can move the town to Kingmu Town. Kingmu Town is the center of Beiwu Island. We should build a big city here to suppress the entire island. It is worthy of us. After he finished speaking, he felt that his wonderful ideas were really great. Cheateon.com will be free from 2 p.m. on the 9th to 2 p.m. on the 11th during the free period. There will be no less than 3 updates per day after the free period ends. I will try to see if I can make a breakthrough. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 224. After Zhu Deipan finished speaking, Chen Ronghuo glanced at the important town of Kingmu below, thinking. If he could capture the important town of Longtan, he would be the lord of most of Beiwu Island. In this case, it would be inappropriate for him to set up his territory in Lushwiven Town. Apart from anything else, if he continued to stay in Lushwiven Town, the range covered by the Lord's light emitted by his Lord's statue would be a major flaw. The Lord's light emitted by the Lord's statue is circular. Lushwiven Town is in a corner of Beiwu Island, and outside is the vast ocean. If he continued to stay in Lushwiven Town, it would obviously waste most of the Lord's light. And this is a different time. In the past, Lushwiven Town was located in a remote area, inconspicuous among the towns, and it was not noticeable. Of course, it was a good place to live. But now, as the power controlled by Chen Ronghuo is getting stronger and stronger, it is obviously not appropriate for him to guard a corner of the land. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flickered. Once the Lord's statue is fixed, it cannot be moved. At the same time, the Lord's statue is closely connected with the Lord's noble mark. Once the Lord's statue is destroyed, the noble mark will be reduced to the original level, that is, to the barren mark. Even if the Lord's statue can be re-erected at that time, the level of the Lord's statue can only be the initial barren Lord's statue. In other words, once the Lord's statue is destroyed, for ordinary lords, they have to start all over again. Moreover, although the Lord can also use the lowest level barren Lord statue to burn the power of faith and enhance strength. However, using this level of Lord statue can only allow a second level peak cultivator to exert the strength comparable to that of a third level cultivator. It is not very effective for lords who are third level cultivators themselves. Therefore, if Chen Ronghuo wants to move the territory, he has a great advantage over others. That is, when moving the Lord statue in the territory, he can completely find out the divinity attributes in his own Lord statue. After the new Lord statue is built in the new territory, he can add the previous divine attributes back. In this way, he doesn't have to use up all the previous accumulations every time he moves the Lord statue like other people do. Even he can use up all the attributes of his Lord statue and go to other Lord's territories with a new Lord statue. Then he can set up his Lord statue in other Lord's territories, king against king. Of course, this will be too conspicuous. He will definitely not do this unless it is absolutely necessary. Whoosh! When Chen Ronghuo and others were rushing to Longtan Town, a figure suddenly flew from the side and caught up with them. Lord, I have selected several second-level practitioners who are willing to join us in Xuanhuan Town and let them temporarily manage Xuanhuan Town. As long as there is no accident, there will be no big chaos there in a short time. The person who caught up was more than 2 meters tall and as thin as a stick. It was Li Haishui. Seeing Li Haishui return, Chen Ronghuo nodded. Li Haishui did not do this on his own. He told him before leaving Xuanhuan Town. Compared with other important towns, Longtan Town is the most important. He wanted to attack Longtan Town, so he would naturally have more combat power. It was a pity that he could only leave those sea monster horses there again when he left Manta Lake because only the mother of the sea monster horse could fly. However, he rescued these sea monster horses from danger several times, which made these sea monster horses have a better impression of him. Chen Ronghuo felt that if he used some means in the future, it would not be impossible to bring these sea monster horses under his command. However, without using the demon contract, it would obviously not be too simple to subdue a 3rd level demon and 5 2nd level peak sea demons. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A few minutes later, Chen Ronghuo and his party arrived at Longtan Town from Qingmu Town. Longtan Town is built on the mountain. Compared with Qingmu Town, although it is also surrounded by greenery, it has a more majestic look. In particular, the mountain behind Longtan Town is the highest mountain in the entire Beiwu Island. This majestic mountain is towering into the clouds. And Longtan Town is located under this mountain. But after arriving here, Chen Ronghuo and others were all stunned. They looked at Longtan Town, but saw that the entire Longtan Town was in chaos. There was not even a guard on the tall walls of Longtan Town. Who are these people? Could it be that people from Lushwiven Town have come? Chen Ronghuo. The one wearing a black and red robe should be Chen Ronghuo, the lord of Lushwiven Town. After Chen Ronghuo arrived, there was a lot of discussion in Longtan Town. Long Fihung fled with his strong men, and the remaining people naturally knew about it. Thinking of the movement from Lushwiven Town not long ago, everyone in Longtan Town was extremely terrified. They didn't know what would happen to them in the future. In the past, they were the people of Longtan Town and lived a rich life. Now, Long Fihung has escaped. If they follow Chen Ronghuo, how will they be treated? Will they continue to enjoy the life of the upper class as before, or will they be demoted to the lower class and work day and night like the villagers in various villages? These people have some understanding of Greenwater Bay Town. Many people know that Greenwater Bay Town has been recruiting people. Many of the poor people who were originally recruited into Greenwater Bay Town have changed a lot now. However, not counting the people in the affiliated villages of Longtan Town, there are more than 30,000 or 40,000 people in these towns alone. Can Greenwater Bay Town afford so many people? Long Fihung escaped. Chen Ronghuo released the power of his soul and quickly caught some people's conversations. He showed a look of surprise on his face. Long Fihung, as the lord of the strongest town on Beiwu Island, actually just went to Greenwater Town and ran away? Chen Ronghuo was very puzzled and didn't know what Long Fihung encountered in Greenwater Bay Town. Looking at the Longtan Town in front of him, Chen Ronghuo did not act rashly, but first used the ancient book to calculate whether there was any danger hidden in the current Longtan Town. The people beside Chen Ronghuo also heard the discussion of the people in Longtan Town. Zhu Daipen opened his mouth wide. Lord? That Long Fihung wouldn't be so timid. He didn't expect that the current Greenwater Bay Town was so powerful that the enemy fled before his own people came, and even left their homes. He is quite timid. Chen Ronghuo smiled. Through calculation, he has confirmed that Long Fihung really escaped. Even now, in the entire Longtan Town, let alone 3rd-level practitioners, there are not many 2nd-level practitioners. Let's go in. Chen Ronghuo's eyes fell on the Lord's statue of Long Fihung in front of the Lord's mansion in Longtan Town. Although Long Fihung left, his Lord's statue is still here. All along, he had to break the statue of the Lord to get the divine attributes from it because of time constraints. But this time, there was no danger in Longtan Town, and he could finally try to get all the divine attributes contained in it without breaking the statue of the Lord. This chapter seems a bit watery, but some things are not explained clearly. There will be many bugs, please forgive me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 225. The world of gods is composed of a vast continent and a number of different dimensions that exist on the continent. In the world of gods, temples are everywhere. Whether it is the original gods, ancient gods, alien gods, old gods, new gods, all of them aim to collect faith. Hundreds of years before Chen Ronghuo came to the continent of gods, gods often fought each other because of disputes over faith. At that time, even mortals could sometimes see gods. But later, for some unknown reason, the gods on the continent left one after another, and no one was left. However, because the gods who left can still collect the power of faith, everyone knows that those gods who left have not fallen. At the same time, some powerful gods left some prophecies before leaving. Is it about to start? When Chen Ronghuo flew into the important town of Longtan and touched the statue of the Lord of Longfiheng, many strong men in the ancient temples hidden in various places on the continent of gods murmured to themselves. At this moment, in the sky, which ordinary people, even cultivators below the 5th level, could not perceive, there were suddenly waves of strange fluctuations. The fluctuations were like countless terrifying and powerful beings, bombarding this world again and again through the space membrane. With the bombardment, the waves became clearer and clearer. Indistinctly, it seemed that a dark breath had infiltrated the continent of gods from another dimension of space. This dark breath was like a huge shadow, almost covering the entire continent of gods. In the important town of Longtan, Chen Ronghuo knew nothing about all this. Boom! At this time, after he placed his left hand on the Lord's statue of Longfiheng for more than 20 minutes, he suddenly vomited his strength, and under the explosion of blood and energy, the Lord's statue of Longfiheng collapsed in front of him with a rumble. It seems that because he broke through to the 3rd level, without breaking Longfiheng's Lord's statue, he actually spent more than 20 minutes to touch all the divine attributes in Longfiheng's Lord's statue. At the same time, this time, he took out 15 divine attributes from it. There are 10 more than the sum of the divine attributes obtained from the 2 major towns of Xuanhuan and Black Horse. Of course, in addition to the divine attributes, the power of faith in Longfiheng's Lord's statue has naturally been gone. Taking a deep breath, Chen Ronghuo was quite satisfied with his harvest this time. But he did not realize that at this moment, the fluctuations in the sky that enveloped the entire world of gods became stronger and stronger. At the same time, there were suddenly gusts of breeze around him. As the breeze blew, the white clouds in the sky also became much faster at this moment. Lord! At this time, as the Lord's statue of Longfiheng collapsed, Huanglin walked forward with a dozen people and said, "These few people are the strongest people in Longtan town now. They have agreed to lead the remaining people in Longtan town to our Green Water Bay town." Chen Ronghuo turned his head and his eyes fell on the dozen people. After identifying the attributes of these people with ancient books, he nodded slightly. Among these dozen people, all of them are in the early stage of the 2nd level. A 2nd level cultivator, placed on Beiwu Island, is already qualified to become the lord of an ordinary town. But with only the early stage of the 2nd level, in Longtan town, he is not even qualified to be taken away by Longfiheng. Of course, this is mostly because Longfiheng's ability is limited and he can't take so many people away together. After all, although the 2nd level cultivator is strong, he can't fly. If Longfiheng takes all these people away, it will undoubtedly slow down his speed of leaving. And Chen Ronghuo is not interested in knowing where Longfiheng went for the time being. He glanced at the dozen people in front of him and slowly said, "You are all from Longtan town." Boom boom boom. Suddenly, just when Chen Ronghuo was halfway through his words, amidst the earth-shaking roars, countless black holes of varying sizes with purple edges suddenly appeared in the sky. There are about 20 of these holes, located above Beiwu Island. Roar roar roar. After these holes appeared, everyone in the world of gods heard terrifying roars through these holes. It seemed that on the opposite side of those holes, there were countless terrifying demons, raging, roaring, and rushing out. Immediately afterwards, some people saw that there were actually countless black spots falling out of those holes and falling towards the continent of gods. As those black spots approached, everyone suddenly discovered that those black spots were actually countless terrifying monsters of varying sizes and strange shapes. At this moment, ordinary practitioners and ordinary people in the gods' continent were all panicked. They didn't know what happened. They didn't know what those holes were. They didn't know what was behind those holes. And how could there be so many terrifying monsters? Chen Ronghuo raised his head with a serious look. He immediately focused his eyes on a dark hole with a purple edge in the void between Lushwiven Town and Longton Town. 4th level Black Magic Stargate, a portal jointly built by the gods, connecting to the Black Magic Star, which can be exited but not entered. The highest level of monsters that can burst out of it is a 4th level monster that contains the source of the magic energy of the Black Magic Star. The gate of the Black Magic Star is not only a door, but also a divine formation. Any monster that bursts out of the gate of the Black Magic Star will be extracted from its body by the formation in the gate, and then mixed with other materials to refine into elixirs, secret treasures, talismans, or other precious items. These precious items will be integrated with the monster itself. Before these monsters are killed, most monsters can use these items to exert stronger strength. After these monsters are killed, all precious items have a certain chance of bursting out of the monster's body. But most of the time, these precious items will be transformed into the power of the source and return to the Black Magic Star. Note, starting today, the 3 major business houses in the God's world, the Gold Business House, the Silver Business House, and the Bronze Business House, will begin to sell experimental experience crystals. Buy the experimental experience crystals, integrate them into your body, kill the monsters that contain the original magic energy of the Black Magic Star, and you will be able to intercept a part of the pure original power of the Black Magic Star and transform it into your own cultivation. The gate of the Black Magic Star? Kill the monsters and get treasures. Experimental experience crystals. Chen Ronghuo thought of the information related to the Black Magic Star that he had identified through ancient books before, and his expression was slightly cold. Today, the mysterious Black Magic Star has finally unveiled a little bit of its veil in front of him. At the same time, he combined the various information he identified this time, and thought of the experimental landing crystals he used before, and he felt more and more that the gods in this God's world seemed to want to turn the God's world into a game. But what purpose the gods have, he still doesn't know at this time. There will be another chapter later. Thanks to Sky Guide for the 100 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 226. The 4th level Black Demon Stargate. Chen Ronghuo glanced at the Black Demon Stargate in the distance again. The Black Demon Stargate that appears between Greenwater Bay Town and Longton Town is only the 4th level. But he didn't know that among the many Black Demon Stargates that appeared this time, he didn't know if there were any Black Demon Stargates above the 4th level. Rumble. There was endless roaring between heaven and earth. In just a moment, no one knew how many doors to the Black Demon Star were opened. I don't know how many monsters rushed out of the portal. But this time the drastic changes did not stop there. What rushed out from the Black Demon Stargate was billowing black energy. This black energy is extremely pure, as pure black as ink. The power of negative emotions mixed with the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star. The Black Demon Star is the original power of the Black Demon God, the most powerful god in the world of gods, and is formed by condensing the power of negative emotions from the world of gods for hundreds of millions of years. Either way, the power of negative emotions mixed with the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star that penetrates from the Black Demon Star can be integrated with many things in the continent of the gods. Everything that incorporates this power will undergo drastic changes. Chen Ronghuo's face was gloomy. This incident disrupted all his plans. If it weren't for this incident, he might have returned to Greenwater Bay Town by now. It will even soon become the real master of the 3 major towns, plus the 5 major towns in the south of Beiwu Island. But now, his plan has obviously come to nothing. Call. As countless monsters rushed out of the Black Demon Stargate, all the Black Demon Stargates in the sky suddenly closed. Looking from a distance, one can only see purple marks imprinted in the void. Chen Ronghuo raised his eyebrows and looked at the Black Demon Star gate again. Gate of Black Demon Star. Status, closed. All the doors to the Black Demon Star will open from time to time. Rumble. Suddenly, just after the Black Demon Star gate closed, there was another roar on White Mist Island. But what was different from before was that this time, the roar that sounded on Beiwu Island did not come from high in the sky, but from underground. The roar that sounded from the ground was like a muffled thunder. As these sounds rang out, Chen Ronghuo was suddenly shocked to see that the mountain next to the important town of Longtan seemed to suddenly come to life, as if it had been stimulated by something. The skyline became 2 or 3 times larger. Not only this big mountain, but also some small mountains in the distance have become much larger. It can even be said that at this moment, the entire Beiwu Island seems to be several times larger. On some flat lands, peaks rise abruptly. At the same time, many trees also grew larger. Or get weird. Mutated Black Dragon Mountain, incorporated into the power of negative emotions mixed with the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star, the mountain has become 3 times larger. The lives living on the mutated Black Dragon Mountain will suddenly become extremely vicious. The mutated Black Dragon Mountain will be stained with too much blood, has a chance to breed spirituality and turn into the evil dragon of the mutated mountain. Chen Ronghuo's eyes fell on the mutated Black Dragon Mountain, and after a moment, his pupils shrank slightly. Then he raised his head slightly and looked at a green tea tree growing on the cliff of mutated Black Dragon Mountain. This tea tree is one of the plants that has just mutated. This tea tree originally had lush green branches and leaves. But after incorporating the power of negative emotions mixed with the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star, it more than doubled in size in a short period of time. At the same time, small red bumps appeared on each leaf, just like the red pimples on the human body. They were densely packed and extremely scary. Mutation Longtan Tea Tree. Due to the integration of array of negative emotional power mixed with the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star, a great transformation occurred, giving birth to an array of extremely vicious spirituality. Any life that comes close to this tree will be attacked by it. It will use the lifeblood it kills to water its roots, thereby gaining greater strength. Brewing tea from the mutated Longtan tea tree can improve a warrior's energy and blood. The power of negative emotions mixed with the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star. Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath. One can imagine how terrifying it is to have many things undergo such transformations in a short period of time. He knew that this time, the entire world of gods might change drastically. Click, click, click. However, just when Chen Ronghuo thought it was all over, suddenly, he felt Beiwu Island shake again, followed by huge sounds from all directions at the same time, like the sound of a giant cracking. Kaka. The sound is endless. Amidst such noises, Chen Ronghuo suddenly discovered that some distant scenery suddenly quickly distanced itself from him. At the same time, he also felt that the ground beneath his feet was shaking violently. What happened again? Chen Ronghuo was puzzled. But suddenly, Chen Ronghuo seemed to have thought of something. After being startled, he instantly rose into the air and looked in all directions. This is. From a high position, he looked into the distance and suddenly discovered that at this moment, Beiwu Island was divided into more than a dozen parts. These dozen copies each form a floating island, floating in the sea. Shocked, he flew higher and higher, and finally discovered that the dozen or so islands split apart by Beiwu Island were almost split according to the scope of the original large territories on Beiwu Island. Among them, the important town of Longtan where he is now is an island by itself. The original Causeway town, together with the area where Greenwater Bay is located, became a separate island. In other major towns, the situation is almost the same. Only Beiwu City, where the Changsun family is located, is not separated from the territory of the 2 important towns of Taman and Zhui. Instead, they gathered together and became the largest island among all floating islands. At the same time, Chen Ronghuo looked far to the north and discovered that at this moment, not only Beiwu Island, but even Hiwu Island located far away from Beiwu Island seemed to be divided into more than a dozen islands. Buzz. Suddenly, just when Chen Ronghuo was confused about why Beiwu Island and Black Mist Island had undergone such changes, his mind moved, and a ray of consciousness was suddenly introduced into the inner space of the ancient book. A golden star traced a mysterious trajectory in the void, landed on the space film of the ancient book, and then turned into a picture, appearing in Chen Ronghuo's eyes. These pictures are exactly the islands of White Kiri Island and Black Kiri Island that have now been split. And some specific humans and demons on each island. Among them, he was surprised to see a large river crab eating mud under the green water outside Green Water Baytown. At the same time, this time, the humans and demons appearing in these scenes all have a common characteristic. That is, these beings all have traces of black and white mist. Black and white mist. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's mind moved, as if he thought of something. He looked carefully. Then he discovered that in the picture, in the area where White Mist City was located, there were 3 demons with traces of black and white mist evil on their bodies. The important town of Taman, the important town of Shui, and the White Mist City itself are 3 large territories. The 3 large territories correspond to the 3 demons with black and white fog evil marks. Vaguely, Chen Ronghuo thought of something. Following his thought, his consciousness withdrew from the inner space of the ancient book, and then looked at the pages of the ancient book. Thank you for the 500 coin tip from May you be treated kindly by the world. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 227. White Mist Island and Black Mist Island, due to the influence of the bipolar coiled snake formation covering the entire Kato Snake Islands, have become closer to each other, and will collide and merge into one place soon. However, due to the great natural repulsion between the 2 islands, as well as the recent incorporation of the power of negative emotions mixed with the original evil energy of the Black Demon Star, and the drastic changes on the islands, both islands collapsed prematurely. However, White Mist Island and Black Mist Island can give birth to part of the original power of Black Mist evil every 1,000 years. The Black and White Mist Demon and the Black and White Spirit Pearl have the same origin. After refining, in addition to acquiring strange abilities, they are also born with a strange force field that can protect the 2 islands. Each Black and White Mist's original power can protect a large territory. Territories with the original power of Black and White Mist evil can be protected from a certain degree of natural disasters or unnatural disasters. If there are multiple beings in a certain territory who have refined the power of the Black and White Mist demons, they can superimpose and protect multiple territories. At the same time, gathering together multiple beings who have refined the original power of the Black and White Mist demons can also make the territory act like a magnet, forming a suction force on other islands split by the 2 islands, slowly gathering them around themselves. After learning the reason for this change from the ancient book, Chen Ronghuo's eyes suddenly flashed. At first, he thought that the changes in the island were all caused by the appearance of the Black Demon Star, but he did not expect that this matter was also related to a 2-panel snake formation covering the entire Jado Snake Islands. Gathering together multiple beings who have refined Black and White Mist evil, the territory can act like a magnet, attracting the floating islands where other territories are located. Chen Ronghuo murmured to himself. From this point of view, as long as he returns to Lushwiven town, he will hand over the giant 8-clawed octopus and the original power of the Black and White Fog evil in Tanseong to the big river crab for refining. It seems that some floating islands can be actively approached. Then he can create a huge floating island of his own with Green Water Baytown as the core. Besides. Then he glanced at the ancient book with his consciousness. I saw that behind the lines of writing in the ancient book, there were also written brief introductions of more than 20 beings who had refined the original power of the Black and White Mist evil, as well as the locations of those beings. Among these 20-odd lives, the big river crab is also among them. At the same time, Chen Ronghuo also discovered that the reason why Longtan Town was able to remain intact and not cracked was because there was also a life in Longtan Town that had refined the original power of the black and white fog evil. Xianbing Toad, half-step 4th level demon, lives at the bottom of the Black Dragon cold pool, feeds on the cold air of the cold pool, is solitary in nature, and does not go out all year round. Half-step to the 4th level. Chen Ronghuo frowned. Demons of this level are not something he can deal with now. But no matter what, it was a big gain for him to know the locations of all the beings who had refined the original power of the black and white mist evil this time. Now, as long as he is strong enough to catch all these lives in one fell swoop, he will obtain the black and white mist demons and let the big river crabs refine them. With Greenwater Bay Town as the core, he should be able to create more than 20 floating islands split from the 2 islands. All attracted around Greenwater Bay Town. Chirp. Suddenly, just as Chen Ronghuo was thinking this, his ears moved and he heard a piercing scream coming from a distance. This is. He raised his head and immediately saw a group of 70 or 80 large birds with a wingspan of 2 to 3 meters, and blue electric light pulsing all over their bodies, rushing towards him like a huge continuous blue lightning. At the same time, behind this group of big blue birds, there is a densely packed area. I don't know how many of these big birds are fluttering and hovering in the sky. Blue Lightning Thunderbird, a life born from the Black Demon Star. It has certain intelligence, is good at controlling thunder and lightning, and is at the peak of the 4th level of its clan level. Most of the group are first order blue electric thunderbirds, some are second order, and a few are third order. The blue electric thunderbird king is at the early stage of 4th order. The blue electric thunderbird lives in the sky, and where it lives, thunderstorms will slowly form. Blue thunderbirds feed on thunderstorms. Talent ability 1, Killing Advancement. By killing lives that are not lower than the level of your own clan, the overall strength of the clan will increase. The lives bred by the Black Demon Star all have this ability. Talent ability 2, Summon the power of the ancient Thunderbird King. Blue electric thunderbirds, led by second level blue electric thunderbirds and above, hunt in groups. They can activate their own innate formation patterns, gather the power of all blue electric thunderbirds, summon the power of the ancient Thunderbird King, and exert their abilities beyond their level. Strength. The Blue Lightning Thunderbird has a strong sense of territory and will not hesitate to attack any aerial life that appears in front of it. However, most people who invade their territory can avoid their attacks if they do not attack them and take the initiative to land. Note, killing a large number of black demonic beings below your own level will arouse the hatred of powerful black demonic beings. Some powerful black demonic beings may develop induction and hunt you down. Let's go down quickly. When Chen Ronghuo flew high into the sky, Huang Lin and others also flew into the sky with him. When Chen Ronghuo identified the attributes of these blue electric thunderbirds, his expression changed and he immediately called out to the people around him. Quickly fell from the sky. What a joke! The 70 or 80 blue electric thunderbirds in front of him were nothing to him, but the dense group of blue electric thunderbirds behind him made his scalp tingle with just one sweep. If he was targeted by these things, I'm afraid he would have to kneel down even with his strength. This large group of blue lightning birds, there are probably thousands or tens of thousands of them. In addition, the meaning of the 4th level peak of the group level is mostly that with the innate abilities of these things, if they are led by the strongest blue lightning bird king, they can use their innate abilities to summon the power of the ancient Thunderbird King, which is comparable to the average 4th level peak cultivator. Now for him, let alone the 4th level peak, even ordinary 4th level existences can take his life. Moreover, killing a large number of black magic star life forms below their own level may cause hatred from powerful black magic star life forms, which is obviously an extremely unfriendly thing for Chen Ronghuo. When Chen Ronghuo and his group landed, the 70 or 80 blue lightning birds flew over them, and then circled a few times before leaving, as if warning them not to invade their territory again. After these blue lightning birds left, Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath. Before, he thought that the life bred by the black magic star would be like the giant octopus that was stained with a trace of the black magic star's original magic energy, without intelligence, or even more weird. But now it seems that this is not the case. But no matter what, this time, he is in big trouble. With such a group of terrifying blue lightning thunderbirds hovering in the sky, I am afraid that all of them will have to be banned from flying in the future. There are 2 more chapters in the evening. Thanks to Dong, drunk is drunk, may you be treated gently by the world pie for 1000 coins, and bond in front of the grave for 500 coins, and Cassius Seed, Man, Stubborn Heart, Heaven and Earth Wuji Xuanhuan Delugo Jinxian, Sky Guide for 100 coins. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 228. Chen Ronghuo raised his head. He found that after this period of time, the purple marks transformed by the black magic stargates in the sky had disappeared, as if they had never appeared. However, the drastic changes in Beiwu Island, the mutant black dragon mountain that had grown several times larger not far away, and the group of blue lightning thunderbirds in the sky all proved that all of this was true. Looking at the large group of blue lightning thunderbirds circling and flying in the sky, as if they were going to cover the entire sky, Chen Ronghuo let out a long breath. Now Beiwu Island has grown several times larger because of this incident. In addition, the island was split, each occupying one side, and each doing irregular movements under the natural repulsion between the Lianji Panshi Formation and the Black Mist Island and the White Mist Island. And I don't know if there are other powerful demons on this island. He wants to return to the Green Water Bay Formation, but he is afraid that he will have to delay for a while. Fortunately, Changsun Zhengzin was in Lushwiven town. He could sense some general situations through the demon contract and several pets of Fat Cat, so he was not too worried. However, Chen Ronghuo frowned again when he thought of the sharp cry of the blue lightning thunderbirds just now. When those blue lightning thunderbirds approached him just now, the sharp cry was extremely loud. But with his eyesight, he could see from a distance that many of the large group of blue lightning thunderbirds were chirping. And some blue lightning thunderbirds were only a few thousand meters away from him. But at a distance of only a few thousand meters, he could not hear anything. This was obviously very abnormal before. In the previous world of gods, the speed of sound propagation was extremely fast. The battle between the third-level practitioners could be heard by the whole island. But now, Chen Ronghuo's consciousness moved, and he identified the surrounding air. Variant air, it combines the original magic energy of the Black Demon Star and a large amount of negative emotional power. Ordinary sound can be transmitted normally in the air. The sounds of level 1 to 4 are greatly weakened and difficult to be transmitted 1,000 meters. The sounds above level 5 are not affected. At least ordinary people will not have to worry about being disturbed when they sleep in the future. After identifying the properties of the mutated air, Chen Ronghuo thought with a smile. Wang Chao, take me to the 3 major business houses in Longtan Town. Shaking his head, Chen Ronghuo said to one of the dozen or so level 2 cultivators left by Long Fihung in Longtan Town. Yes, Lord. The man was stunned. I don't know how Chen Ronghuo knew his name. But he didn't dare to think too much, and quickly made a gesture of invitation, leading Chen Ronghuo to the 3 major business houses in Longtan Town. Chen Ronghuo wanted to go to the 3 major business houses to see what the so-called experience crystal looked like. Through the previous identification of the Black Magic Stargate, he knew that only the 3 major business houses created by the 3 gods in the world of gods had experimental experience crystals for sale. There are also 3 major business houses in his Green Water Bay town. After he became the Lord, he also went in to have a look. However, most of the things sold in the three major trading companies were of no use to him, so he did not deal with them very often. To the west of Longton Town, a space crack suddenly appeared in the void. At the moment the crack appeared, three figures quickly walked out of it. Among the three figures, there was a middle-aged man wearing a black suit, tall and thin, and his tall and thin degree was comparable to Li Haishui. However, unlike Li Haishui, this man was thin and his face was extremely pale, as if he had just recovered from a serious illness. "Master, where is this? We are not coming out of the demon sealing land, are we? This is not the continent of gods, is it?" At this time, one of the three young men, who looked to be in his 20s, with a normal figure but a pale face, turned his head and asked the middle-aged man. When the young man asked, a short and fat young man standing on the other side of the middle-aged man also looked at the middle-aged man. "If I'm right, this place is probably the gods' continent. The demon sealing land where we are located has been entered by people from the gods' continent before. If they are not lying, then this place is probably the White Mist Island or the Black Mist Island." The middle-aged man's eyes flickered with doubt. The gods' world is composed of the gods' continent and countless alien spaces. And the demon sealing land is the largest alien space in the gods' world. There are 10 large fixed entrances to the demon sealing land on the gods' continent. And he and his 2 apprentices are all natives of the demon sealing land and have never been to the gods' continent before. But he has killed a cultivator who entered the demon sealing land from the gods' continent before. So he knows. If he breaks through the space barrier from the location of the demon sealing land where he is, he will appear on 2 small islands on the edge of the Gatuo Snake Islands in the North Sea of the gods' continent. The 2 islands are called White Mist Island and Black Mist Island. There is no entrance to the demon sealing land on these 2 islands. But for some unknown reason, it was a little special. Except for a few cultivators with special treasures, other cultivators, once they reached the 4th level, would be actively absorbed into the sealed demon land. However, this was not the most surprising thing for him. What surprised him the most was that he didn't know what happened before, and huge holes with purple edges suddenly appeared in the sealed demon land. The holes were so dense that no one knew how many there were. At the same time, after the holes appeared, countless demons rushed out of them. In addition, the entire demon sealing land seemed to have grown much larger in this huge change. At that time, he was fighting with his elder brother with several of his disciples. And he had just taken a rare treasure from the enemy. Because the change was too sudden, he and his elder brother were too shocked, and they didn't even have time to kill the enemy. Just when the change in the demon sealing land ended and he and his elder brother were about to chase the enemy, he and 2 of his disciples were suddenly pulled by a vortex that appeared out of thin air and appeared here. Is it really the continent of gods? His 2 disciples' eyes lit up when they heard this. They had also heard of the continent of gods. There were countless strong people in the area where they were in the demon sealing land. A 4th level mid-stage cultivator like his master could only be considered an elite. In their place, only the 5th level cultivators can dominate a place. Only the 6th level cultivators are the real big shots. And the 3rd level cultivators like them, although they can't be said to be small shots in their place, they are indeed not famous. They heard from their master a long time ago that there are almost no strong people in Beiwu Island and Hiwu Island because almost all the cultivators above the 4th level have entered the demon sealing land. "Master, then we are." Both of them looked at the middle-aged man. "It took a lot of time to figure out the plot, and I can't write the 3rd update. I will send it to everyone before 10 AM tomorrow. Everyone remember to read it before 2 PM. The free download will end at 2 PM. In addition, the following plot has been smoothed out a lot, and the update speed should be improved. Well, it should be. Thanks to Cassius Seed, Man for the 500 coin reward, the Burning of the Sense of Time for the 100 coin reward, and Long Cheng Xiaodao for the 100 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 229. The middle-aged man frowned. For some reason, he always felt that it was horribly depressing here, but he took a look at his surroundings and found nothing. He looked into the sky and saw a large group of blue electric thunderbirds at a glance. He had never seen such a bird. Never heard of this bird either. But with such a large group of these birds gathered together, it's not too easy to mess with at first glance. Let's go, let's find a village or a town first and see what's going on here. The middle-aged man's eyes flashed. He practices the way of ghosts and is currently practicing the 10,000 ghosts banner. When he was in the demon-sealed land, he didn't dare to kill a large number of humans, but on Bawu Island. As he spoke, he immediately flew into the air. Seeing this scene, his two apprentices also flew up with him. It wasn't until he flew into the air that he felt that the oppressive aura had weakened a lot. But he didn't notice that just as he and his two apprentices flew high into the sky, a group of 70 or 80 blue electric thunderbirds separated from the large group in the distance and flew towards him quickly. At the same time, when the three of them came out of the demon-sealed land, there were more than 20 people on the islands separated by White Mist Island and Black Mist Island, and they all emerged from the gaps in the void. Go out and come to these floating islands. The important town of Longtan. Here. The dynasty who led Chen Ronghuo to the location of the three major trading houses in the important town of Longtan was suddenly surprised when he saw the greatly changed appearance of the three major trading houses. Ahead, a majestic hall appeared in everyone's eyes. In front of this hall, from right to left, there are statues of the god of gold, the god of silver, and the god of bronze. The three major gods are all in human form. But at a glance, every one of them exudes a heavy divine power and is inviolable. Generally speaking, every territory has at least one of the three major trading houses. In more territories, all three major trading houses exist. In the original important town of Longtan, all three major trading houses were present. It was just that at that time, the three major trading houses were separated. There are three temples, each occupying its own place. The statues of the three major gods are only in front of their own temples. Instead of being together like now, as if they were merged. Seeing this scene, Chen Ronghuo also showed a look of surprise. He also had some knowledge of the three major commercial banks, but he had never heard that the three major commercial banks could be merged together. His consciousness suddenly moved, and he identified the statues of the three gods and the main hall behind the statues. Golden God Statue. A statue fused by the god of gold with divine power. The god of gold is a powerful ancient god. Together with the god of silver and the god of bronze, he is also in charge of the laws of currency. He was originally one of the 10 half-step pillar gods in the world of gods. When the gate of the black demon star opened, the ancient gold god accepted the god of silver and the god of bronze as his own gods, perfected the laws of currency, and became the fourth pillar god in the world of gods. The statue of the golden god has many properties such as gathering souls, shocking, and appeasing. And when attacked, it has powerful counter-attack power. But because of the agreement between the gods, as long as you don't actively attack the statue of the golden god, you will not cause attacks from the golden statue. Statue of the god of silver, statue of the god of gold. Bronze god statue, belongs to God. Golden temple, a temple forged by the god of gold with divine power. No workers are recruited. All temples are presided over by temple elves. They have the ability to exchange currency, sell special treasures, put up for auction, and transmit items for a fee. Top 10 half-step pillar gods. The new fourth pillar god. When Chen Ronghuo identified the three statues of gods and the attributes of the golden temple in front of him, his pupils shrank slightly. Through this appraisal, he roughly knew what the most powerful person in the world of gods was called. Pillar God. While muttering to himself, Chen Ronghuo led a group of people into the golden temple. At this time, due to the changes in the world of gods and the changes in the golden temple itself, there was still no one in the temple where the important town of Longton was located. "Welcome to the Golden Temple, number 17 is at your service." A voice suddenly sounded from the temple. Hearing the sound, Chen Ronghuo raised his head, looked forward, and saw a gold coin emitting a circle of golden light the size of a fist, floating from the side of the hall and landing in front of him. This gold coin has no lines on it, but it has 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Gold coin elf of the Golden Temple, number 17. After the 3 major temples merged into one, all golden temples were managed by the gold coin elves. Because you are the 17th person to enter the Golden Temple in the world of gods after the mutation in the Golden Temple, the gold coin elf you meet is automatically rank 17th. Chen Ronghuo was slightly stunned. Being the 17th to enter the Golden Temple is not bad. It's just a pity that there is no reward. Shaking his head, Chen Ronghuo glanced at the gold coin elf in front of him who looked like a child who forgot to draw his eyebrows when drawing Grandpa Sunday. He thought for a while and tentatively said, "Hello, number 17, can you tell me what this is, what's wrong? Why is it that there are such big changes outside, and your golden temple has also changed so much?" "Sorry, this matter is not within the scope of No 17's responsibility." The gold coin elf shook his body and said in a straightforward voice. "Okay then." Chen Ronghuo showed a bit of pity, and then thought about it and said, "Then can you tell me, after the change of your temple, are there any new abilities or good treasures for sale?" As if talking about something he was interested in, the gold coin elf immediately said, "Of course, our temple has added auctions and paid teleportation functions. In addition, our temple is now selling a treasure called Experience Crystal. In addition, if you are not satisfied with your own strength and feel insecure, you can also pay to hire a bodyguard from our temple, or buy out the bodyguard permanently." Bodyguard? Chen Ronghuo was surprised. He didn't expect that the Golden Temple actually started this business. He asked, "What kind of bodyguards do you provide?" He was a little curious about this. He didn't know where the Golden Temple got the bodyguards from. The gold coin elf number 17 said, "For the time being, our temple can provide 2 types of bodyguards, bronze war puppets and silver war puppets, and they are available from level 1 to level 3. You are a level 3 cultivator, and hiring or buying low-level war puppets is not very useful. I suggest you hire or buy a level 3 bronze war puppet or silver war puppet." Bronze war puppet, silver war puppet? Is this the price paid by the god of bronze and the god of silver after they were defeated and became the subordinates of the god of gold? Chen Ronghuo was thoughtful. Of course, with his level of strength, he could only make a slight guess based on clues. Thinking about it, he asked, "How much does this 3rd-level war puppet cost?" The gold coin elf said, 10,000 copper coins can be hired for 1 day, and it costs 1 million to buy it out permanently. Of course, the copper coins I'm talking about refer to the new copper coins, not the old ones. Chen Ronghuo suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. What new copper coins? New copper coins refer to copper coins that have been stained with a trace of the original power of the black magic star. Of course, you may not know what the black magic star is, but it doesn't matter. You just need to know that as long as you kill the monsters that rushed out of the portals in the sky when the mutation just happened, there is a certain chance that new copper coins, or even new silver coins and gold coins, will explode. I haven't set up a bowl for a long time. I will update it at 2 p.m. Please subscribe after the free limit ends. Whether this book will work depends on this time. Thanks to the bigger the scarier for the 500 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 230. Chen Ronghuo was a little confused. A sudden change in currency will definitely cause great chaos to the economic system of the world of gods. I don't know what the Golden God wants to do by doing this. Of course, it is also possible that the Golden God, who has become one of the 4 pillar gods, does not care about this at all. What about the old gold, silver, and copper coins? He looked a little ugly. When he was in Lushwiven Town before, he spent a lot of money to build Lushwiven Town. But because he had money quickly, he had robbed him several times, and he had killed Tan Xiong not long ago, so he had almost 100 million copper coins in his hand. The gold coin elf showed a smile on his face and said, "You can exchange the previous gold, silver, and copper coins for new gold, silver and copper coins in our temple, and the exchange ratio is 100 to 1. In addition, the exchange ratio of new copper coins, silver coins, and gold coins is 10,000:100:1. 100 to 1. Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath. In other words, after he replaced all his copper coins with new copper coins, he only had 1 million left. 1 million new copper coins can only hire a third-level bronze war puppet and silver war puppet for 100 days, or buy them directly. Pull it down. Chen Ronghuo immediately gave up the idea. Spending 1 million new copper coins to buy a third-level battle puppet is simply not worth it. Now, he has no shortage of third-level combat power under his command. For him, the best way to use the two kinds of war puppets sold in the Golden Temple is probably to hire dozens or hundreds of third-level war puppets at certain critical moments to use the human sea tactics to use them to fight against some powerful enemies. As for individual hiring or purchasing, it is basically useless. Even if other territories hire or purchase third-level war puppets, they may pose some threats to him. Shaking his head, Chen Ronghuo felt that the world was really unfriendly to him. Then he looked at the gold coin elf again and said, "What about the experience crystal?" "What is the experience crystal?" "Experience crystal is a good thing." The gold coin elf blinked and tried his best to sell Chen Ronghuo. Experience crystals cost 100 new copper coins. After refining, when you kill the powerful demons that just rushed out of the Black Demon Star's gate, you can intercept part of the original power of the Black Demon Star's demonic energy and quickly enhance your own cultivation. Moreover, one experience crystal can be used for 1 year, which is definitely worth the money. 100 new copper coins. One can only be used for 1 year? Chen Ronghuo frowned slightly. The experience crystal is different from the two war puppets. Judging from this change in the world of gods, this thing must be popularized. In this way, 100 new copper coins can be used to buy one experience crystal, which is definitely not cheap. You can help me exchange these into new copper coins, and then help me get an experience crystal to see. Thinking about it, he took out all the bronze cards and all the copper coins he was carrying and handed them forward. Okay. The gold coin elf agreed with a smile, and then he did not know what method he used. In an instant, the large pile of bronze cards and copper coins handed over by Chen Ronghuo disappeared. Following it, he produced a brand new bronze card and sent it to Chen Ronghuo, together with a crystal clear and engraved with mysterious patterns. This is the experience crystal. You can complete the refining by adding a drop of your own blood to it. It's extremely simple, the gold coin elf introduced. After the introduction, it continued, in addition, our temple also provides services such as auctions and paid delivery of items. The auction means that if you have something and want to sell it, you can set a price and then temporarily store it in our temple. Our temple will publicly display the items you want to auction on the big screen. Of course, if you want to do this, you must pay a handling fee of 1% of the price you set. For paid teleportation, you can pay to teleport your items to other nearby golden temples through our temple. As long as you provide the recipient's detailed information, we can use the bronze card, silver card, or gold card he has applied for to notify him to collect the items from a temple near him. At this time, Chen Ronghuo had already put away the brand new bronze card. And the attributes of the experience crystal were identified using ancient books. The first experimental version of the experience crystal, you can refine it through drops of blood. After refining, when you kill the demon containing the original demonic energy of the Black Demon Star, You can intercept a trace of the original power of the Black Demon Star and transform it into one's own cultivation. Note, the lifespan of this experience crystal is 1 year. In the future, the gods will release more versions of experience crystals. By then, the lifespan of the experience crystals will be extended, and the original power of the Black Demon Star that can be intercepted will also increase. Chen Ronghuo's expression moved slightly. When he was appraising the properties of this crystal, his main consciousness first thought about whether there would be any problems in refining this crystal. After he thought about it, the ancient book identified such attributes, which probably means that there should be no problem with this experience crystal. After thinking about it, he controlled his energy and blood, forced a little blood from his finger, and dropped it on the experience crystal. Buzz. The crystal clear experience crystal shook, and then it turned into a white light and rushed into Chen Ronghuo's body. Indistinctly, Chen Ronghuo felt that he seemed to be a little different, but he couldn't tell the specifics. Perhaps only when he killed a monster from the Black Demon Star could he feel the difference. Thinking of this, he handed the bronze card he had just received to the gold coin elf again and said, "Give me another 100 experience crystals. In addition, you just said that your temple can be auctioned. If I auction, can the items I sell be seen in all temples?" No, the gold coin elf number 17 smiled into a crescent shape, and while deducting 10,000 copper coins from the bronze card handed by Chen Ronghuo, he said, "The items you sell can only be displayed on the big screen of the Golden Temple on your 2 islands, White Mist Island and Black Mist Island. However, in addition to these 2 islands, practitioners in other places may also be able to search for the items you want to auction through inquiries. But the farther the distance, the more shipping costs the auctioneer will pay after auctioning the items. So if the items you auction are not valuable or rare enough, it is generally difficult for people who are too far away to auction your items. It is worthy of being the Golden Temple. Everything really costs money." Chen Ronghuo shook his head and sighed. But then, he glanced at Zhangji, the 3rd-level silk grass warlock who was brought all the way from the Black Horse Town by Huanglin and whose cultivation was sealed. He thought and said, "Can I use your paid teleportation service to teleport him to other temples?" Teleporting Zhangji was actually just a casual question by Chen Ronghuo. His real purpose was to know whether he could teleport back to Greenwater Bay Town through the Golden Temple's teleportation array. "That won't work either," the gold coin elf shook his head and said, "Our service only transmits items, not people." But after he finished speaking, it thought about it and said, "Of course, if you kill him and turn him into a corpse, we can help you teleport." Corpse. Chen Ronghuo's eyes suddenly lit up when he heard this. So, he should be able to teleport the corpse of the giant octopus and Tan Xiong back to Greenwater Bay Town through the Golden Temple's paid teleportation service. Then let the big river crab refine the 2 black and white mist evil origin powers. The floating island where Greenwater Bay Town is located is originally connected to the floating island where Longton Town is located. Now it is estimated that even if the floating island of Greenwater Bay Town moves away, it can't move too far. In this case, once the big river crab refines the 3 black and white mist evil origin powers, it may be able to attract the floating island where Longton Town is located to the floating island where Greenwater Bay Town is located. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 231. You can teleport corpses. Chen Ronghuo murmured to himself while deep in thought. Not far away, Zhangji, who was short in stature and had a wretched look, heard Chen Ronghuo's words and saw Chen Ronghuo's thoughtful expression. His pupils immediately dilated and he struggled in Huanglin's hands. Not only was his cultivation level sealed, Jinkinzan also used a miniature formation to seal the ability to speak. That's why after such a long time, he didn't say a word, and couldn't even beg for mercy. But now, he really had to express himself. If he doesn't show off himself, he may turn into a corpse and walk around a teleportation array that can only transport items. Bang! As soon as he moved, Xuanhuan frowned and glanced at him, then raised his other hand and used a special technique to hit his head hard. With this blow, a strange force surged in, and Zhang Ji immediately felt waves of acupuncture-like pain in his head. As soon as the pain came out, all his struggles immediately became incomparably powerless. Chen Ronghuo glanced at Zhang Ji and ignored him. Although this wretched-looking guy has a trace of the original magic power of the Black Demon Star hidden in his body, there is no sign of it breaking out, and he doesn't know what's going on. Then he turned his head and looked at the gold coin elf again. I have 2 corpses here. Please help me see how many copper coins are needed to teleport to the Golden Temple in Greenwater Baytown. As he spoke, he handed the storage ring containing the giant 8-clawed octopus and Tan Xiong's body to the gold coin elf. These 2. The gold coin elf smiled and shot out a golden light, took Chen Ronghuo's storage ring, blinked his eyes, and said, "The 2 corpses you want to teleport are not simple. The price is clearly marked, 25,000 new copper coins for one, and we can help you teleport to the Golden Temple in Greenwater Baytown. 25,000 new copper coins would have been equivalent to 2.5 million before. In other words, if Chen Ronghuo wanted to teleport these 2 corpses back to Lushwiven Town, he would need the previous 5 million copper coins." He took a deep breath and said, "What if I auction it? I set a low-level auction. How much shipping will the person who takes the photo of these 2 corpses have to pay?" The gold coin elf was stunned. But then he shook his head and said, "This will determine the shipping fee based on the transmission distance and the value of the item. If the final shipping fee does not exceed 10,000 copper coins, all shipments will be calculated as 10,000 copper coins. Because this place is not too far from Lushwiven Town, if you do this, the person who takes the 2 items will only have to pay 10,000 copper coins for shipping. However, I cannot guarantee whether the person who ultimately takes this photo will be the person you choose." Chen Ronghuo sighed, knowing that if he wanted to take advantage of the loophole, he was afraid it wouldn't work. "In that case, then help me transport these 2 corpses to the Golden Temple in Lushwiven Town. The recipient is Xiaoruo, the deputy mayor of Lushwiven Town." After he finished speaking, he thought about it, and suddenly his heart moved. He took back the storage ring hanging in front of the gold coin elf, and then with a thought, he released the giant 8-clawed octopus and Tan Xiong's body inside. The internal space of the Golden Temple is so large that even a giant 8-clawed octopus can still accommodate it. After releasing the giant octopus, he stepped forward, stretched out his left hand, and traced a smooth skin of the octopus with his fingers. In the outline, each black attribute was integrated into the skin of the giant octopus by Chen Ronghuo. Soon, lines of writing appeared from above. Because the sound could not spread too far, he did not dare to return to Lushwiven Town for the time being, so he could only use this method to arrange for Xiaoruo, Ho-san, and others. "How about it? I wrote some words on it, so there shouldn't be any extra shipping fee, right?" When everything was completed, Chen Ronghuo clapped his hands and looked at the gold coin elf number 17. Number 17 was silent for a moment before saying, "No need." Then it deducted 50,000 copper coins from Chen Ronghuo's bronze card, waved away the giant octopus and Tan Xiong's body on the ground, and then took out the 100 experience crystals that Chen Ronghuo had just purchased from it, and handed them to Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo's thoughts moved slightly. Only then did I know that the gold coin elves in the Golden Temple might have certain authority. It's not like everything is clearly priced. Thank you very much. Thinking about it, he took the 100 experience crystals and his bronze card, smiled and thanked number 17, waved his hand, said goodbye, and led a group of people outside the Golden Temple. Welcome to visit us next time. Later, Number 17 said with a bright face. A big customer. Soon it thought happily in its heart. It is connected to all the temple elves on White Mist Island and Black Mist Island. At the same time, it also knows that there are absolutely only a handful of cultivators in the area where it is located who can spend tens of thousands of new copper coins at once. And gold coin elves like them, created by the god of gold with divine magic, not only possess spiritual intelligence. When serving the temple, you can also receive rewards from the golden god based on your performance. In such a short period of time after the sudden change in the temple, Chen Ronghuo walked into the temple and made it number 17. In addition, Chen Ronghuo spent a large sum of copper coins on it, which made it have a good impression of Chen Ronghuo. Boom! Suddenly, just as Chen Ronghuo and his party walked out of the temple, Zhangji, who was caught in Huanglin's hand like a dead fish, suddenly burst out with black air from his body. Under the violent black air burst, Huanglin was shocked and failed to catch him in the first time, causing him to fall to the ground. However, as soon as Zhangji fell to the ground, Huanglin, who had just missed, and Zhenqinzan, reacted and immediately surrounded Zhangji. Zhu Daipen and Li Haishui stood in front of Chen Ronghuo in the first time. Wait. Chen Ronghuo saw Huanglin and Zhenqinzan were about to attack Zhangji, frowned, and stopped them. Zhangji, 3rd level Silk Grass Warlock. Qualification, 3. Status, Demonic Energy Explosion. Note, the silk grass parasitizing Zhangji's body is extremely compatible with the Black Demon Star's original demonic energy lurking in his body. Under the demonic energy explosion, if his will is not strong, he will transform into a demon without intelligence and only knows how to kill. If his will is strong enough to survive the demonic energy explosion, he can transform the silk grass into black silk grass. Black silk grass attribute 1, Parasitism. The parasite can control the black silk grass. Black silk grass attribute 2, Division cracked black silk grass seeds. Black silk grass seeds can parasitize in women's bodies, and can absorb women's blood and qi. During the battle, black silk will be spread all over women's legs, thereby enhancing women's speed, strength, and certain defensive capabilities. At the same time, it can form an innate formation and summon the powerful power of ancient black silk. I really tried hard, but I still code too slowly. I can only produce 2 chapters for the time being. The next update will be at 6 p.m. Thanks to Monk with None for the 100 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 232. After identifying Zhangji's current attributes, Chen Ronghuo opened his mouth slightly. If this so-called black silk grass was not a strange plant, but some kind of thin fabric, he would probably think that it was a senior who landed in this world many years ahead of him. However, what really concerned him was how powerful this so-called power to summon ancient black silk was. With a slight movement of his mind, he suddenly stepped forward and pressed his left hand towards Zhangji. Whether Zhangji could transform the silk grass into black silk grass was related to his willpower. Willpower was related to the soul. He happened to have the soul origin attribute in his hand. Adding this thing to Zhangji might allow him to successfully pass this level. As for whether he could subdue Zhangji after he successfully passed this level, he didn't care. If he couldn't subdue him, he would just kill him. Even if Zhangji's strength increased after passing this level, he didn't care too much. From the attributes of the black silk grass, it can be seen that this is an ability to develop a legion. One person alone is not very useful. If he could form a black silk army, he might still consider it, but now. Swish. After integrating several soul origin attributes into Zhangji's body, Chen Ronghuo did not stop there. Instead, he tried to find some other attributes from Zhangji. And as soon as he found these attributes, he integrated them back into Zhangji's body. Although he was confident in his own strength. But it's always good to keep some backup. Zhang Ji didn't know what Chen Ronghuo was doing, so he didn't resist. Or he was powerless to resist at this time. He had put all his mind on fighting against the pollution of the origin of the black magic star. However, after Chen Ronghuo integrated several soul origin attributes into his body, he felt that a clear spring suddenly appeared in his soul. Under the influence of this clear spring, he was like a traveler walking in the vast desert. When he was about to give up, he suddenly found an oasis in front of him. In the town of Green Water Bay. Because of this sudden change in the world, Xiaoruo, Ho San, and others all walked out of their homes, stood on the city wall of Lushwiven town, and looked towards the direction of Longtan town. Due to this change, the territory of Lushwiven town has also increased several times. In the past, standing on the city wall, you can see Shanghe town at a glance. But now, not only has the distance between Shanghe town and Lushwiven town become farther, but there is also a mountain rising from the ground between the two. And when the gate of the Black Demon Star was opened before, a group of strange monkeys landed on that mountain. Xiaoruo, who looked a little weak in white, stood on the city wall and asked the tall Ho San beside him, "Lord Ho, just now Magi Carp said that the Lord is fine now, but he may not be able to come back for the time being. I wonder what you think we should do next in Green Water Bay Town. The Lord can't come back for the time being, so we have to protect Green Water Bay Town for the Lord." Ho San shook his head and said, "As for what to do specifically, it's all up to you, Lord Xiao. The Lord believes in you, Lord Xiao, and I naturally believe in you too." Xiaoruo heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. Now that Chen Ronghuo is gone, except for the old man who only sweeps the floor, the strongest person in Green Water Bay Town is Ho San. If Ho San doesn't cooperate with him, Green Water Bay Town will definitely fall into chaos in this situation. Taking a deep breath, Xiaoruo said, "Our top priority now is to explore what changes have occurred around our Green Water Bay Town. Where did the monsters that rushed out of the portals in the sky not long ago land? What kind of monsters are they, what abilities they have, and how aggressive they are? These are all things we must know. Only after understanding these can we make preparations. What Lord Xiao said is right. I will send someone to investigate this matter as soon as possible." Ho San nodded. Now in Green Water Bay Town, he is in charge of the army and Xiaoruo is in charge of politics. Going out to explore the surrounding areas of Green Water Bay Town, naturally only he can do it. Then I'll trouble Lord Ho for this matter. Suddenly, when Xiaoruo was halfway through his words, he had a thought in his mind, and suddenly flipped his palm and took out a bronze card. This bronze card was applied for by himself in the previous 3 major business houses under his real name. "You have a package from the Lord Chen Ronghuo of Green Water Bay Town. It has just arrived at the Golden Temple of Green Water Bay Town where you are. Please pick it up within 3 days. If you delay, you will need to pay a storage fee to pick it up." After he took out the bronze card, a message on the bronze card immediately flowed into his mind. The Lord's package? Xiaoruo was stunned. He didn't know when the Golden Temple had this ability. Just now, the 3 major temples had changed drastically, and his subordinates had already reported to him. But at that time, he had no time to care about this. "Lord Ho, follow me quickly, the Lord has sent news." Thinking of this, Xiaoruo immediately called Ho San excitedly, and then hurried to the Golden Temple. Although he acted very calm just now, after all, Chen Ronghuo was not there, and his heart was still full of haze. Now that there was a sudden news from Chen Ronghuo, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. After hearing this, Ho San quickly caught up with Xiaoruo, although he didn't know what was going on. Not long after that, the two took out the giant octopus corpse and Tan Xiong's corpse that Chen Ronghuo had sent to them from the Golden Temple. At the same time, the two saw the words on the giant octopus at first sight. How could it be? What surprised the two was that the things Chen Ronghuo had explained were just some normal things. There was no special instruction. But according to their understanding of Chen Ronghuo, it shouldn't be just like this. If Chen Ronghuo just explained these, there was no need to write so many things. Xiaoruo frowned. But then, as if he thought of something, he quickly searched carefully in the words that Chen Ronghuo had written on the giant octopus. After a moment, his eyes suddenly lit up, pointed to the places where half a stroke was missing in the words, and said to Ho San, "Master Ho, look here. What is this?" Ho San was stunned. Then he connected all the words that seemed to be missing because of haste, and found that these words were what Chen Ronghuo really told them. No airspace, do not massacre monsters below your level. After seeing this, the two immediately understood that Chen Ronghuo did this probably to prevent the Golden Temple from knowing about this. Of course, the Golden Temple probably knows much more about this mutation than Chen Ronghuo. But Chen Ronghuo couldn't let the Golden Temple know that he knew these things at the beginning of the mutation. Taking a deep breath, Xiaoruo said, "Lord Ho, since the Lord has told you to send these two bodies to the big river crab, then I will trouble you with this matter." "No problem." Ho San nodded and collected the two bodies. Whoosh. However, when Xiaoruo and Ho San were secretly excited, they did not notice that the fat cat who had been following them before suddenly ran out of Lushwiven town quietly after hearing some news from Chen Ronghuo from the two of them. Following a trace of induction, he ran towards the direction of Longton town.